Oh, hold on a second. That is still really loud in my ears. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Comic Book Geeks podcast. I am one of your co hosts, The Walking Dead JW. We have with us one of our normal co hosts. I guess it'd be Specs Voorhees is with us tonight. How you doing, Specs?
What's going on, man? Long time no see.
Yeah. And then we also have with us Leatherface Joe. Is Leatherface Joe there? Hello, Leatherface. There's Leatherface. How are we doing, Leatherface? And then later on, John Freeman Kruger will be joining us. He has to wait till after sundown, I guess. He's like a vampire or something.
Yeah, wait till everybody goes to sleep. You know how it works.
Yeah. So, how has everybody been? It's been a while. I know I have to let everybody know that we lost Phil this week. Phil will not be joining us, maybe occasionally, but not in a full-time capacity. So he will be back. I don't want to scare everybody like I did earlier this week.
Yeah.
But Phil is fine. He's alive, and he will be joining us from time to time. But Joey has stepped up to take his place, and I just hope he actually knows how to do some homework because Phil always did his homework. So, speaking of homework, there isn't much news this week. I was just looking over it before we came on the air, and I don't know. It must be a pretty slow news week.
Well, it's like that the whole month. That's why the Deadpool thing and the
oh, that's right. I forgot about Deadpool last week. Yeah.
That was like the main reason they did it because it was apparently nothing going on, so that's why they dropped both trailers.
Yeah.
I have a theory behind that though.
I have theories behind this thing too. Let me hear yours first, Specs. What do you think is going to happen in Deadpool 3?
So, the whole Fox contract thing, So, only one they can use is Hugh Jackman. So, they can go ahead and use him, and that shit hold us off till 2025, so they can get some real X-Men in there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think they had no plans of doing Deadpool 3. So Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman basically forced Marvel's hand to do that movie.
Yeah.
So
kind of like they did with the first one.
Yeah. So in turn, that's why they dropped the Wakanda Forever trailer showing Shuri as Black Panther, because it's like, well, we need something because we can't just people like that. So let's go ahead and give them Shuri as Black Panther, and everything's gonna be good. Because I don't think they wanted to spoil that Black Panther shoot like that. So
yeah,
I think it's because of Ryan Reynolds they did that.
Well, I have the way that things happen usually go in the Deadpool movies. I have a feeling we're gonna have Hugh Jackman for one scene. They say, well, he was in there. We're good.
Well, I don't think so because they're friends in real life. So
yeah,
I think it's gonna be a good he said play Logan or he said play Wolverine again. I can't remember.
Logan.
So yeah, I think it's a play on words. That's really what it is, because just like Patrick Stewart came back as a different version of his character. So I think he's gonna actually play an old man Logan type character to be used or killed off later on.
Yeah.
Since they are doing Secret Wars, and never had a whole new Wolverine versus Logan situation. But I don't think. But honestly, I don't think they even use Logan Wolverine at all in MCU. I think
Yeah, I
it's
think
gonna
they're
go
gonna
for
go with
X-23.
yeah. I think
Yeah,
that's where
just
they're gonna
how
go.
it's looking. I think it's gonna use X-23 straight up, like, and
Yeah.
maybe Sabretooth, but I doubt they'll have Sabretooth.
Yeah. Not, who knows? But yeah, that was.
I don't like the way they're going. I don't see why they even put Logan in there unless they make him. Let's say go the Ultimate Universe, and he was like the first like mutant they like started like experiment on, and all the rest of them popped up. Let's say go that route, but I don't know. Like
Yeah. Who
they
knows?
Namor's flying now, so he's gonna be the first mutant. So I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? We'll see. We have to wait till 2025
well,
or 2024.
Is Nick Fury a super soldier?
I don't know. I don't think they ever like said if he was or not.
Okay, it's 3 Nick Fury things they can go through, like the super soldier thing, the clone thing, you know. Yeah, and it's been 2 different ones.
Yeah, they're gonna bring back David Hasselhoff.
Yeah. Or they might just do it with the scroll one and him just conflicting with each other. Because my personal opinion, I don't think the original Nick Fury's been there since the 90s.
Yeah.
I think he's been off world the whole time, and it's been the scroll doing that the whole thing.
With the Avengers and everything?
Yeah, I think that was scroll the whole time.
Interesting.
Because I don't know. I've been pretty sure it's like YouTube videos and theories, like say how the differences between the two. But I think that what gives me the clue is the whole eye patch thing, and then the eye patch not being there thing.
Yeah, yeah.
That's my theory. I don't know.
We shall see. Yeah, the only other thing, like I told Joe right before I came on, I saw that Five Nights at Freddy's has yet another director and a shooting date announced. So we'll see how that goes.
So is that live action or 3D?
Yeah, live action.
It's gonna be live action. Yeah.
Right.
How many did you say that they made already? Like this is like the third time.
This is their third time going through a director because the other 2 times end up being 2 different movies at the end because Scott Cawthon pulled out and said that no because the directors kept changing the script. So we ended up getting Banana Splits and Willy's Wonderland instead. And let's hope it's been in the works since 2016 that it will finally come out.
I liked Willy's Wonderland. I think that was the best movie that Nicolas Cage was ever in.
I liked Mandy. That was one of my favorite kind of like horror movies.
I liked it because Nicolas Cage didn't say a word the whole movie.
Speaking of Nicolas Cage, you know there's that movie that came out recently where Nicolas Cage played himself?
Yeah.
Well, in an interview when they were talking about that movie, he talked to the director saying that he didn't want to play Nicolas Cage. He wanted to play the Nicolas Cage's best friend in the movie.
Wow.
He didn't want to play himself. He wanted to play the best friend of Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
I guess it's boring playing yourself, right?
Yeah, I guess that's.
Well, speaking of directors, Blade lost their director.
Yeah, I did see that. So, what kind of shape does that put us in for that movie coming out?
Well, he's been complaining. Well, I can't think of the dude's name, Marshall, whatever. He's been complaining since Eternals about that movie, so it must be pretty bad. Like he said, like in the Breakfast Club interview, he didn't even want to do that scene in Eternals. He was like, he's not even in character yet. He doesn't have the feel for Blade, so like he doesn't even know if he's even gonna talk like that in the Blade movie. But they got his voice like that in Eternals. Like he hated that they made him do that so early on. He said he just got a role with in a year, and we haven't started filming, or I haven't got costume yet, and they making me do this voice lines.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew right there was a red flag.
Not fun. Yeah. So hopefully that doesn't set the whole timeline back again, like everything else
Well, I,
seems to do tomorrow.
well, I don't think it's a script problem. I think it's a directorial problem.
Yeah,
I think
but I
keep
mean,
it
still,
together.
it's finding a new director. Then they're gonna come in and they'll want to change some stuff. So it's gonna.
Shoot, just let Wesley Snipes do it and call it a day.
Yeah. But today, being our first show of the spooky season, we will be starting our 31 days of Halloween countdown. So that is the four of us. Well, Joey didn't get to because Joey wasn't part of the show yet. So we're still got Phil's votes on this. But we have 31 movies we think are the best horror movies to watch on Halloween. So, and Jonathan isn't here to do the countdown. So a lot of these movies are his because he voted for weird movies high in the list. So they all made the list. So, but today we're going to be doing the first 10, or I guess you'd say the last 10, numbers 31 through 21. And some of these movies are much older than Joey. There's a couple that are older than me.
Probably 80% of them.
Yeah. there's even a couple that are older than I am. So, yeah, no, that's old. But they're not black and white, Joey, and they do have word. They do have sound. So.
I'm not guessing that they were that old. I'm not.
Well, the one's pretty close. But you think we should go ahead and start without Jonathan? Or do we have something?
Yeah, because I don't know. It's not daylight savings no more, so no time when the sun go down.
Yeah, I don't know what time it goes down in LA, or if he has to wait till it's dark, or if it just sundown. Who knows?
He should just close his blinds. So
That's why I said, hey, it's dark here.
Yeah, nobody on here knows his real location.
Yeah, so and you were just on the East Coast till yesterday. So what's the difference?
Yeah, what happened? He was just flew on a plane, so he'd be jet lagged. So which sun he gonna pick?
Yeah, but I don't have any funky music for this yet. But we will start the Comic Book Geeks 31 Days of Halloween. Make some music, Joe. Whatever. All right. So, number 31, let me see if I got this right, is The Evil Dead. Why is that one? No. The Evil Dead was before your time, Joe. Have you ever seen this movie?
Yes. Zach
The original?
binge watched every single Evil Dead movie and the show.
And the show. So, Ash versus the Evil Dead. Well, this movie came out in 1981. So, I was only like 5 years old when this movie came out. So, but for anybody who has never seen The Evil Dead,
I haven't seen it. The only ones I've seen is him after the Chainsaw Hand.
so like Army of the Dead or whatever it is.
Yeah, like I never seen him sit at the counter, cut his hand off, all that. So like every time I seen him, he already had it on his hand.
Yeah. So this story is 5 college students take time off to spend a peaceful vacation in a remote cabin. A book and an audio tape is discovered. Well, that tells you how old it is right there. Who reads and who listens to audio tapes? And its evil is found to be powerful once the incantations are read out loud. The friends find themselves helpless to stop the evil as it takes them one by one, with only one survivor left with the evil dead, and desperately tries to fight to live until morning. So, 1981. So I remember seeing this. Wow, I don't even remember. I must have rented it on VHS way back in the day, or my sister did probably. But it made us that's directed and written by Sam Raimi, who, if you don't know, went on to do the first 3 Spider-Man movies.
And this is the reason why he's in I can't think of his name now. It says
Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell was in all the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
He's also in Doctor Strange too.
In what?
He's in a recent movie as well, ain't he?
Yeah, he's in what's
He's the guy who got his mind messed up, right?
Yeah, the Pizza Pete.
Yeah.
In Doctor Strange. Yeah. Yeah, so Sam Raimi also directed that. And a little trivia thing from the show that I had seen, or the movie, it says that the cabin that's used in the film, it was also used to lodge the 13 crew members. So with several people sleeping in the same room, and I guess living conditions there were terrible, and the crew was like constantly fighting, and the cabin didn't have plumbing. So the actors went days without showering and fell ill frequently in the freezing weather. And then there's also other stories from the movie is that because it was shot like over several years, so it was like whenever they had a little bit of money or they had the time. So there's several scenes where the actors look different. Their hair's different. The blood they're covered in is different. Like there is one scene where Ash is completely covered with blood, and the very next scene he's clean, then he's covered in blood again. So,
that's wow.
So yeah, it's quite a movie. I do believe I'm trying to. I should have looked this up first. If you've never seen it, you can watch it on AMC Plus if you have a thing. But I think it's on some other places. Let me.
It's not Amazon Prime since the TV show's on Amazon Prime.
I don't know. I usually have these brought up, but here it doesn't do it right. I don't like the way they do it.
Because Ash versus Evil Dead is on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, but that.
So I assume the movies will be on there too.
Well, you probably assumed wrong. But let's see.
Just like they own the James Bond movies, but Spectre's not on Amazon Prime. Not Spectre. Yeah. Is Spectre? Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime. The last two Bond movies are not there.
Well, I'm gonna mute myself real quick.
Yep. I don't even see where it says because usually if you Google it, it tells you where you can watch it.
Well, you say Evil Dead where to watch.
Unless they change my thing, because usually it would just show me when I Google it. But let's see, available on Peacock. If you have the subscription to Peacock, you can watch it.
That's probably what happened.
And then every place else on like YouTube and all those other places, Amazon Prime, but you have to pay for it there. But if you have Peacock Premium, you can watch it for free. So I might have to watch that tomorrow. It's been a while since I saw it. This movie, like
that service, but I don't want to pay for another bill.
But this was the movie that launched, Bruce Campbell's career, and we actually I have a book to review that he wrote this month. It came out last week, so we will get to that. So the next movie, number 29. Number 30, I'm sorry, is 13 Ghosts. Now, this was a remake. That was a remake. The original movie was the 50s. It was a long time ago. That's all I remember. But have you ever seen this movie, Joe?
The cover looks very familiar, but I probably didn't because... No, I lived with my grandma for how long, and you know how she felt about horror movies.
Well,
they got this show now, or like a series or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, it says Arthur and his two children, Kathy and Bobby, inherit their uncle Cyrus's estate, a glass house that serves as a prison to 12 ghosts. When the family, accompanied by Bobby's nanny and an attorney, enter the house, they find themselves trapped inside an evil machine designed by the devil and powered by the dead to open the eye of hell. Aided by Dennis, a ghost hunter, and his rival, what's her name? Kalina? I guess. A ghost rights activist, Out to set the ghosts free, the group must do what they can to get out of the house alive. And this was 2001, I believe this came out. No, before that, wasn't it? It was, year was it? Do you remember?
It had to be 2000.
Oh, it was 2001. 2001. Yeah, I was.
I think it's probably once in a while.
And this movie, yeah, Tony Shalhoub was in it. Shannon Elizabeth, who was like in every movie in the early 2000s, I think, and Matthew Lillard. Some of the ghosts, like my friends, I had friends that were like really into this movie, and we had talked a long time ago about it'd be cool to do like a show where
It
they
is a show.
no, but this is way before they decided to do it. Where
They stole your idea.
yeah, and they would focus on each of the ghosts, like to have the backstory for each of the ghosts. Because
See, that's why you got to put your cell phone face down so they don't hear your ideas.
that's what it is. That's what it is. They must. So, have you seen this movie, Joe? Who's behind you?
Yeah, I think
Zach's
it's
behind
Smartass
me.
and asked him, like, hey, yo, how much?
What's he doing? Gonna make a bunch of noise, isn't he?
He's talking. He's talking to me about something. But not like I said, the cover of it looks familiar. I just don't think I ever watched it. Probably like when I was scrolling through horror movies to watch, I'd probably seen and then never watched it.
Well, it's a very good one.
No. Well, I might try to watch it. I know today we just this is kind of Halloween theme. Well, it is Halloween theme. But today we watched Hocus Pocus and Hocus Pocus 2 today. So, yeah.
Ooh, those are some scary movies right there.
They're not
yeah.
sure, but you know, it's Halloween themed.
But if you wanted to watch 13 Ghosts, it's actually going to be on AMC on Sunday, on my birthday, October 16th, during their 31 days of Halloween. So this will be on the 16th on AMC. So you'll be able to watch it there. But I'm sure if you wanted to watch it someplace else, I'm sure it's streaming somewhere.
Probably somewhere on YouTube or Twitch.
Yeah. If you have Plex, whatever Plex is, it's free to stream on Plex. Every place else has it, but you got to pay for it. So
It's probably on Shudder too.
It doesn't say that though. Who knows?
You know, that's the horror movie app thing.
Yeah. But what made you pick this movie, Specs? What did you like about this movie?
The ghosts, the individual ghosts, I think was better than the actual cast. Like,
Exactly.
yeah, I haven't watched it forever, but like you said, like the backstories behind the ghosts probably made the movies. Like, just want to know more about them and why, you know.
Yeah, he wasn't the original one. I want to say it was a Vincent Price because he was in all those old movies.
You broke up. I didn't hear you say it. What you say?
I said I think the original one way back when. I think Vincent Price was in there.
Hold on, I get it.
50 years. That's a long time.
It's been a long time. It was on. I mean, it's an old movie, but the next movie on our list. Let me see if I have it there. Yeah, it was Going Goofy. Oh, hold. What in the world? My computer's like going nuts right now. But all right, is number 29 is Final Destination.
See, that was on my list too, but like I'll put it down for the series actually. But if I had to pick one of them, I'd do number 2. Number 2 probably the one that's probably the best to me.
Yeah. Of course, this probably has one of the most famous scenes in any horror movies with the log truck.
That's 2. That's number 2.
Is that number 2?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
with
about.
With the log truck?
Yeah, number 2.
I thought that was the. Wow. Okay, so it would be the second one. See, I don't know. They all run together. Before we did this list, I was at, I want to say Walmart, and they have like the box set that has all of these in it. And I was like, "Boy, this is the longest destination I've ever seen." It took them 5 movies to get where they're going.
It's funny. I don't remember what's the even setup for this movie, but I can remember all the rest though. Like number 2 was the highway. 3 was the carnival. 4, I believe, was a racetrack.
Oh yeah, I seen that one.
I don't remember the first one. I can't remember what was the first accident. Oh, the first one was a plane, I believe.
Yeah, it was a plane.
Yeah,
because,
they were on.
they're trying to
trip.
stop everything, and then everyone like every time they try stopping it, something else happens. Like they talk to the flight pilot, and they think they're like terrorists, and it still ends up with the thing crashing and everything.
Yeah,
But
and the last one was the movie theater.
I remember 4 because I watched that with Russell, and the whole time he's watching, he's like, "This movie's fucked up."
Yeah, it's Alex Browning is among a group of high school students readying themselves for a trip to Europe when he suddenly has a premonition their airplane will crash. He screams to warn the others, but instead he is thrown off the plane among others. But the plane actually crashes after they get off. Weeks later, one of the survivors mysteriously dies, and Alex realizes things just got more complex. So, yeah. I guess the second one's probably the more famous of them.
Yeah, the second one had the log truck. It had the tanning bed. It had the weights coming out, squishing his head. It had the guy going to get the ring out the sink. Then he falls down the stairwell, and the stairs hit him in the eyes.
The stairs hit him in the eye.
Oh man, what else? There's one more. Yeah, I heard. I watched the movie so many times. Like
that movie was just.
Maybe,
those movies were just meant to show everything that they could do, your body can do, like everything, like all the weird shit can happen to your body.
It's like 1,000 Ways to Die.
Yeah, but
and if you want to, go ahead. If you want to watch Final Destination, and you have HBO Max, you can watch it on there for free, as long as you have HBO Max.
With ads.
With ads, if you, I'm sure. I pay so I don't have to watch ads, so we're all. That's
but
all
it's
good.
crazy that we pay for HBO Max and we still have to watch ads. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's only on some things.
Hulu, if you pay for it, you still have to watch ads, which is kind of dumb.
Unless you get the Hulu, the big package.
Yeah, which is like $25.
Yeah, I mean, let's see who all was in this movie. Devin Sawa was in the movie. Ali Larder, which what was you gonna say?
The one guy, the blonde hair guy, that's from American Pie. I can't think of his name.
Yep, Sean William Scott.
Yeah,
Tony Todd's in the movie. Brendan, I thought it said Brendan Fraser. I got excited. Brendan Pearl. Yeah. And a bunch of other people you'd know if you saw them.
Thousands before.
But I want to see if there was something else. I didn't go down far enough. Here we go. This is a little did you know that the story was originally going to be the concept for an episode of The X-Files, which was inspired by Soul Survivor from 1984. In this movie, a woman who was the sole survivor of a plane crash starts to be haunted by dead people that death uses temporarily as vessels, trying to kill her to correct this plan and killing everyone who suspects about it.
It don't sound as good. That sound more like that TV show about the plane that came back down like 7 years later.
Oh yeah. It was. I can't think of what it's called now. Hold on, let me Google it.
Yeah, I like that show. At least for the first season or two. I haven't seen it since it moved.
I think that's like a what if like they took the Snap idea from Marvel and they said let's make a movie out. I mean a TV show.
Now I dropped my phone and something happened to it. Oh my god. All right.
It's called Manifest. That's that show's.
Yeah.
Manifest. That's it. Okay. Here we go. And so now we're up to number 28, The Omen. Now this is a 1976, Joe. I was like 2 years old.
I wasn't even thought of yet.
I barely was. It was a Richard Donner film. Richard Donner, most people will remember from. He was the director of Superman. So
Oh,
the original Superman, not that
I'm trying to think of which one is
the first one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Now I'm trying to think of the guy who. The name of the guy.
Christopher Reeve.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he was one of my favorites. Besides, not
Dean Cain.
no.
you don't have that many options.
I can't. I'm bad with like actors' names. Besides like a few people because I've seen in a lot of movies. So like
You got the guy who plays that Adam, and you got the new guy, Henry Cavill.
I want to say Jim Caviezel for some reason. No, that's not it. That's Jesus.
Henry Cavill was a okay Superman for the theme that they were going for.
I liked him as Superman,
but I think he plays a better Geralt because of his darker tone. Because he's like the big kind of dark guy, but Henry Cavill is also a huge fucking nerd.
Yes, but back to The Omen. The Omen is it starred Gregory Peck. If anyone remembers Gregory Peck, I mean, it was before our time. So, and Lee Remick. It's about a boy. Let me just find mysterious deaths surround an American ambassador. Could the child that he is raising actually be the Antichrist, the devil's own son? So, The Omen is great for our. I guess our. What am I saying? Anyways, it gave us the name Damien that everyone associates with being the son of the devil.
Yeah.
So, my nephew, his girlfriend has a son named Damien. Actually, his name's Damien Malachi. So I tell her all the time, so you just wanted him to be like evil? So I always bring out the Children of the Corn line. He wants you too, Malachi. But The Omen, I remember watching this one. Of course, I was little when it came out, so I don't know. I know Joey's never seen The Omen. Have you seen The Omen, Specs?
Yeah, I have, but I get confused with the boy.
It's very similar. Yeah, they did make a remake of The Omen. I want to say 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, but it wasn't as good as this one, right?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, this is back in the 70s when it was like they didn't have all the neat special effects, so they had to scare you with real things. So that's the best way to say about that. I always have some neat things. I got check notes.
Oh, off topic though, talking about scaring us with real things. It was a Japanese movie, and that the blood and gore is so real. People had to investigate to see if they were killing real people or not in the movie.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm gonna look that up while you get your trivia.
Yeah. But Harvey Stevens as Damien was largely chosen for this role from the way he attacked Richard Donner during auditions. Donner asked all the little boys to come at him as if they were attacking Catherine Thorne during the church wedding scene. Stevens screamed and clawed at Donner's face and kicked him in the groin during his act. Donner whipped the kid off of him, ordered the kid's blonde hair dyed black, and cast him as Damien. It says also in the Swedish version of the movie, the scene showing Jennings being decapitated has been cut by 11 seconds. So
wow.
They must not like beheadings in Sweden.
It's just areas like that in general are too much into gore. Like, have you ever seen like how like China censors anime? It's fucking hilarious because they make the blood instead of red, they make it white.
Oh yeah,
it's just like a lot of areas in like Europe and Asia and stuff. They're not huge on gore, so they will censor it if they can.
So if you've never seen The Omen, you can watch it on HBO Max with a subscription, or Hulu if you have a premium subscription, or YouTube TV with a premium subscription. It's also
Might
available
be
from
able to watch
all
it.
the places to order. And I dropped my phone again.
With how old this movie looked, it reminds me of a movie that I watched in school. We had to read the book. It's called it was like The Birds or whatever. But like the birds like going crazy and whatever and start attacking people.
Yeah, we know. We know about the birds.
Jeez.
And everybody will know about the birds in about 4 movies. So So what was you looking up there, Specs?
I can't find it, but maybe later on the show I'll find it. But apparently there's more movies that happened. It happens a lot, but it's a recent movie that really happened. I can't find it.
Actually, I wasn't even 2 years old when this movie came out because it came out in June of 1976. So I was just a little over a year old, a year and a half. The budget for this movie was $2,800,000. It was $2,800,000. An opening weekend, it made $4 million. It barely made it. Well, no, it ended up grossing worldwide over 60 million, and then it cost $2 million to make. So
Okay.
That's not bad.
So I was wrong. The article came out recently, but it was a 1980s film called series called Guinea Pig that was flagged.
Guinea pig. Interesting. I'll have to look that up. I can't find my writing utensil. There we go. That's from Japan, you said?
Yeah, it's so bad the FBI had to go investigate.
There's a lot of like movies like that where they end up like investigating. If you ever, I think if you want to watch a good horror movie, there's like a lot of like Indian horror movies that are like always like the best, but they're always really messed up because they're like you can't tell if it's real or fake a lot of the time.
Yeah, that's what some of those are. All right. So next on our countdown, we're up to number 27. And that is John's movie. He's not here to talk about it.
Go figure.
That is Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Now, I don't know if you remember this. Of course, this is one of the very many of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. This was, I would say the last one, but I guess it did make Freddy versus Jason that still had Robert Englund in it. But this is a very meta movie compared to the other ones where it takes place in the real world and the actors play themselves.
Yeah, I think I've seen this one.
Yeah, it's like Heather Langenkamp plays Heather Langenkamp. Robert Englund plays Robert Englund. Even has Wes Craven plays himself in it. So it's very meta where Freddy gets pulled into the real world, and he kind of there's this glove, but it's like a robotic hand, so you can see it a little bit there in the movie poster instead of it being like the glove he made. So it was, I guess, supposed to be the end of that line of all the movies, and of course, it says in the movie it was nearing the 10th anniversary of the film A Nightmare on Elm Street, and one of the stars, Heather Langenkamp, is being scared by a voice on a phone sounding very similar to the film's villain, Freddy Krueger. When Heather's husband is killed in a car accident and is discovered with slash marks on him, Heather starts to wonder something, especially when she discovers that Wes Craven is writing another nightmare film. Soon she realizes that Freddy has now entered the real world, and the only way to defeat him is to become Nancy Thompson once again. So it's very strange.
To be honest, I've never seen a single Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
Yeah, like I've seen this one maybe, and I've seen the remakes, and of course Freddy vs. Jason. That's it.
Well, Freddy Krueger was always just one of those series I never really got into. He just didn't appeal to me as much as like Jason or Leatherface and stuff.
Well, he always, which we'll talk more about him later in the thing, because John made sure we had a couple of his movies.
I might have to watch some of them then so that I can know what he talked about then.
I think they're all on somewhere. Let me just check. On HBO. You can watch this on HBO. So far, a lot of them have been on HBO Max. So if you have HBO Max, pretty much you can watch almost all of our, so far, our 31 days of Halloween. And no one will leave Joey alone. But
I put the trailer for that one movie in the chat, but I think it's one of the sequels, not the actual movie, but the trailer's pretty crazy. Just seeing, I was like, wow, I can't tell the difference for real.
So it says, like, in this film, Freddy's depicted much closer to what race. Why can't I say his name? Wes Craven had originally intended for the character. Much more menacing, much less comical, with an updated attire and appearance. However, in 2015, before his death, he would admit he regretted changing his appearance and said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, which is why he kept Ghostface's mask the same in every Scream movie. I didn't know Wes Craven died. Wow.
Yeah.
That's news to me. So, there was something else I seen here. Oh, it says, near the end of the credits reads, some parts of this motion picture were inspired by actual events. Others may have attributed to the overactive imagination of a 5-year-old boy. The names of certain characters portrayed have been changed to protect the innocent. Certain innocents portrayed have been traumatized, with the exclusion of those courageous individuals. Individuals who portrayed themselves. Any similarity to the name, character, or history of any persons living or dead is entirely, whatever, all that crap. So it was a little like, this might have really happened.
I mean, I guess to make the movie a little bit better, they might have just added that so it'd be like, oh my god, just like, paranoid activity, like Blair
maybe
Witch.
Freddy's real. Yeah, so I remember this. I thought I liked it because it did go back to more like the original Freddy, where it wasn't as comical as he was like in the later movies.
Chowder, I need my nicotine.
Is that Joe? Joe, is that Zach?
It's Josh.
Can you tell him to like settle? Jeez Louise.
I have my book on stage.
Chowder.
Okay. Anyways, children, I guess. But yeah. So like I said, I liked it because it went back to the less comical Freddy Krueger, so it was more like the original movie. So that was number 27, Wes Craven's New Nightmare. I'm telling you what, it better get sundown in LA pretty soon, because we're almost done with our this.
Well, the whole time he's on the show, he's always sun shining behind him, so I don't know.
I know. So number 26 is Frailty. Now I must admit, I don't think I've ever seen this movie.
Yeah, I never seen it either. I commented like, who voted for this movie? Because I have no idea what this is.
I feel like this Phil or John probably picked.
It was a Phil movie.
If none of us heard it, it's definitely a Phil movie.
Yeah. It says it's a mysterious man arrives at the offices of an FBI agent and recounts his childhood, how his religious fanatic father received visions telling him to destroy people who were in fact demons. So I am not sure what to even say about this movie. Bill Paxton is in it. Matthew McConaughey, Powers Booth. I don't know if none of us have seen it, and nobody's here to tell us what's good about it, but I will find you some trivia about it. It says, when asked why the axe used by his character has the name Otis carved into the handle, Paxton stated that he wanted the axe to have its own personality and to be unique. He found the name in Pasadena when he was there scouting for locations to film. Paxton met a homeless man and offered to give him money. The homeless man did not want charity, so Paxton instead offered to buy the use of the man's name for the movie. The homeless man's name was Otis. So
now the guy gets a check every time the movies get watched.
yeah. Oh, those weren't actually. I was like, wait, who? Oh, Bill Paxton actually directed this movie too. So the late great Bill Paxton, the only man to ever get killed by a Terminator, an alien, and a Predator.
Yeah, he must have a Lazarus pit.
Fox just must have liked him. That's all I can say. We're going to see where we can watch this one because I've never seen it, so I might have to check it out.
This is probably definitely on Tubi.
Come on, it can't be that bad.
Okay, Shudder.
What was the one network that they had? It was like only on mobile, and the shows were like just a couple minutes long.
I don't know. I know the Kung Fu app is only on the computer, and it's not an app.
Well, it's also on HBO Max. So
it's on HBO Max.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I think I'll be doing a lot of HBO Max streaming the next few days because there's a lot of these. I don't know. I want to see what's coming up next so I know if it's something. Okay, I've seen the next one. Ooh, I almost dropped my phone again, but I caught it this time.
You put a string on it.
Yeah, well, I have something over like on the edge of my table, and it's over the hang of the table, and I set my phone on there, and it goes floop, and it flips. Damn it, that's not a place I set my phone. But anywho, our next movie, this was a big movie when it came out, The Blair Witch Project. This is number 25. So we're into the top 25 now. The Blair Witch Project. This was probably one of the best. What's the word? Like the ads and stuff leading up to this movie, the whole like ads and everything that ran. I remember they had like a MTV special that ran all to make you think that this was a real like thing, that they found these videos.
Yeah, I think a documentary that came out around the same time too.
Yeah. So it was just, and if you have the DVD, I remember seeing it on DVD, and it comes with that documentary and stuff, and all the stuff going into it. The actors who played in this were all like unknown people. So I know Heather Donahue was the one who played the girl who, the most famous one with the, like on the cover. My friend Courtney knew her because she went to school with Courtney's sister. So it was like, pretty weird. But if you've never seen The Blair Witch, first of all, shame on you. But secondly, it's about these 3 film students who vanish after traveling into a Maryland forest to film a documentary on the local Blair Witch legend. And so it's one of those, I think it might even been like one of the original lost footage things.
It's the most, it's not the original, but it's the most like
famous,
popular one.
The most popular one that everyone knows.
Yeah. They did make at least 1 or 2 sequels that were a total change from this formula. Blair Witch 2, the something. I just remember it was like an actual movie about the witch. And actually, I think Jonathan actually had voted for the sequel. I'm glad it wasn't as high up on the list because that's a bad movie. Joe, have you ever seen The Blair Witch?
Yeah, I've seen that one, and then the sequel. I've seen more than just one of them.
But it actually is. This film was in the Guinness Book of World Record for the top budget to box office ratio for a mainstream feature film. The film cost $60,000 to make and made back $248 million, a ratio of a dollar spent for every $10,931 made.
So what was Clerks?
I don't know. The Clerks didn't make that much though. It wasn't until like later on that it actually it's one of those. It was found in video and because none of his movies have made much money in the theaters. I don't think he doesn't put them out long enough. Then they're very limited release stuff. So,
and the crazy part, I'm a fan, and I didn't know Clerks 3 had came out. Like,
yeah, me neither. And it's like I said, it's a very limited release, and then it'll be like on video. And you're like, okay. There was some. Oh, there's in 2001, in October 2001, the FX network aired this movie with never before seen footage. This turned out to be a few segments sliced into the closing credits of Heather videotaping Mike saying goodbye to his friends and family, and Heather admitting culpability for the week's occurrences. Mike firmly states that it's not her fault, which is referenced in Heather's later confession to the camera in the theatrical version. Also, all profanities are overdubbed, especially a really bad "let's go" over Heather saying "fuck you" to Josh. Let's go, Josh. But I just remember the thing that stands out most to me with this film was the end when she goes in the basement and Josh is standing there in the corner.
Yeah.
And then that you just see the camera fall and you just hear that like thump, 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 thump sound. And you're like, what the heck just happened? This is one of those movies, if you get motion sick, you probably can't watch it. Because it is like all filmed on handheld video cameras.
I'm surprised nobody did like a TikTok or like a social media version of something like this. You know, like people can believe it more because it's from a cell phone and it's pieced together.
Yeah,
there is something kind of. It's not like the Blair Witch Project, but there's kind of something that is similar. But it's called the Mandela Catalog. It's like those found footage, like a found footage series. It's not finished yet, but it's on YouTube. And it's like the person who made it, Alex something, said it was a universe where God was replaced with the Antichrist. And so, everything's ran by the Antichrist. So when God said Gabriel to talk to Mary and everything, he's like more like Gabe's like more kind of like sadistic and like messed up and stuff. So he like tells her to like kill the baby and everything instead. And then they send these things called doppelgangers, and they come to the world, and they will come to where you live, and they will copy what you look like, and they will just stand there it's in a small town of Mandela, and so like they tell like the people, do not interact with them, do not speak to them. If anything, hide if you see them, because they will just start copying you to the point that they eventually will kill you and replace you. But they're like these entities that are sent by Gabriel and everything to basically wipe all humans off of humanity. And it's like very messed up because the two main characters are Adam and Mark. It's only like I think a total of 20 minutes right now because there's only each like 2 episodes, and like one episode's like 5 minutes, the other's like 15. Do not recommend watching it at nighttime because it is very, because everything is shot in real life. Like the guy uses a actual VHS tape recorder for everything, and whatnot. So like everything you see on like the TVs are from a VHS tape that he recorded everything on, edited, and put it on VHS. So everything's kind of like realistic. So it is a really good show, like a mini show series this guy's working on, but it's really messed up. And that's just mine because he said he got a lot of inspiration from the original Blair Witch because of the whole like when the characters are walking around, it's like them holding a camera or like they're on like when they talk sometimes it's over a phone call, like it actually has like the static of like an old phone and everything because it's based in like 1980 or something like that, 87 or something. It's like everything's like older, so and whatnot. I don't know. It's a pretty good show, like miniseries. It's not finished yet though, because the last episode right now leaves on a big cliffhanger. So, but I would recommend watching it. It's very good.
But if you're the one person who has not seen the Blair Witch Project yet, you can watch it for free on Pluto. But it's also on Hulu, HBO Max, Peacock, Amazon Prime, Paramount Plus, everywhere. Because if you haven't seen this movie yet, you've been sleeping in a cave for the last 25 years. So, yeah. So we're up into the top 25 now. Our next movie, let me see if it's something I've actually... Oh, this is Joey's favorite movie on the list. The one movie that's older than I am. The Birds. Alfred Hitchcock's classic, The Birds, at number 24. I remember watching this in high school. I mean, literally, in high school.
I watched it in the middle.
In English class.
That's where I watched it, yeah, in English class with
I think mine was the same, actually, but you know.
I watched it with Cheech, which I think you know who Cheech is, Dad.
Yep.
Yeah. We watched it in his class.
Yeah, this was from 1963. This movie came out. Of course, it stars Rod Taylor, Tippi Hedren, Jessica Tandy, a bunch of other people, Veronica Cartwright, a bunch of other people that are probably dead by now. Trying to see if you've never seen The Birds. Tell us what it's about, Joe.
So basically, these birds that are in like this small town, like starts off small, like a few birds start like acting weird, like they start chirping and like really loud, and, like getting like on everyone's nerves to the point eventually that they start like purposely attacking people and whatnot, and then it starts like with all these birds like filling this town and like killing people for like some reason. Like there's like the one scene where like one dude is like boarding up the windows and like this bird just comes out and cuts his hand open. But like when you look at it, since it's like an old movie, it just looks like they got like grape juice and like splattered it on the wall and whatnot. So it's kind of fun. It's like it has that old like horror movie vibe because it's like really at the time you could tell that they put a lot of work into it, but now it's like there's a lot of weird stuff. Like the birds when they hit people, you can just tell that they're like fake like rubber birds or like something like that because they just do that. When they hit people, they just flop to the ground or whatever. It's a good movie if you want to like have like a nice little laugh, but I don't know. The story is kind of weird as well because you don't really know what's going on. They don't really explain why the birds do what they do.
Yeah, it's just a movie where it takes place in a Northern California town, and it slowly gets taken over by birds that attack people. There's never a reason given. It never like lets you know how to stop them from doing it. It's just bird attack after bird attack after bird attack. And it was, and it's a PG-13 movie. But Alfred Hitchcock had said on an interview on the Dick Cavett Show in 1968 that 3,200 birds were trained for the movie. He said the ravens were the smartest and the seagulls were the most vicious.
That's a lot of birds.
Yeah.
They should do a remake.
It says in one of the reviews on it, it says one of the best horror movies of all time. Don't listen to all the bad comments about this movie. They don't know what they're talking about. This was a good movie. It was much better than The Birds 2, which is one of the worst movies that I've ever seen. So, thanks, whoever that was that put that review on there. Yeah, so this is an old movie. It's a classic horror movie, like much of the Alfred Hitchcock movies, and I don't think we could have actually had a 31 Days of Halloween list if we did not include at least one Alfred Hitchcock movie, because how many of he was the master of horror in those times. Like, did you ever watch the Alfred Hitchcock Presents show? I remember watching that when I was younger.
Yeah, we definitely didn't watch that.
that was a white person show. Is that what you're telling me?
I know the name of the director. I don't know the show.
But you can watch it on Peacock, so
Look,
makes
see,
sense. So you can watch the.
We were in San Francisco. We don't have that channel.
Yeah, but you can watch The Birds on Peacock. It all makes sense.
It's a meta joke.
It's a meta joke. That's it. Boom. And of course, you can pay for it to watch it other places, but who wants to pay to watch them?
So I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube.
Well, I'm sure all of these are if you actually look, but we're talking about the right way to watch them.
It is right. I got a Google account.
Okay. Now we're on to number 23 on our list. Let me close this out. And number 23 on the countdown is Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah, this is Jeepers Creepers truck was parked in front of my job earlier in the week.
Jeepers Creepers truck?
Yeah.
This is one of Zach's favorite horror franchises for a while until he found out about what the director was like. So,
but yeah, somebody had a Jeepers Creepers truck, but they got it customized as a suicide prevention truck for cops and military people. But It's the actual same kind of truck that looks all armored and all that stuff, but it got like a sign on the side that says to donate the cop for suicide prevention. There's a Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all that stuff. But it's the actual creepy ass truck. It's pretty wild. We had that last week. Then this week we had Pennywise running around the parking lot scaring people.
Oh, so Jeepers Creepers came out in 2001, and it's about a brother and sister driving home through an isolated countryside for spring break, and they encounter a flesh-eating creature which is in the midst of its ritualistic eating spree. Is that what it's about? I didn't.
See, it depends on you remember, because if you watch this one, I didn't watch this one until later. I seen the second one, and the second and third one, it gives you a completely different feeling from the first one, because you just think he's actually just killing people in the sequels, but the first one you get the whole backstory and why he's doing it, and the more people he eat, the more his self comes back. But if he doesn't eat people, he looks like a monster. So, but you don't get that in the other two. So, I think in the remake, they
did that Jeepers Creepers Reborn that just came out a year or two ago. Is that what it was called?
Yeah, Down brings it back, saying the more stuff he eats, the more stuff he get on his skin. So I don't know. But two screwed me up. I was in middle school when I seen that one.
Is this the movie that has the song in it? Jeepers.
Yeah,
no. Yeah.
But like I said, that's another thing they forget in the second one. But it popped. Well, I think a guy in the field says in the second one. But it seems like they just forgot the lore in the sequels.
Because the thing I remember about this when it came out, I worked with my sister. We were security guards, and I worked the shift after her. And her boyfriend at the time went to see this movie before work. And when I got in, she was all freaked out because that song kept coming on the radio.
Yeah, because once you hear it, I think he comes or something like that.
Yeah. So Justin Long is in this movie.
Well, shit, what are you trying to do? Kill me? God damn it.
Yeah,
What is your dad?
yeah. What's your problem? You're trying to kill your mother. I
I'm
mean, I know
not.
this is the Halloween show and all, but wow.
Fucking man.
But
Did to me.
Fun
he's
time.
just not having luck. Uh, so Jeepers Creepers, number 23. I will admit I've never seen Jeepers Creepers.
Seriously,
So-
none of them.
Nope. But I guess I'm
Wow.
going to have to. It's available on Fubu, Filio, Amazon Prime Video, and then a bunch of places you can pay for it. And
Yeah,
it'll also
like-
be. And it
Yeah,
also
like,
will be.
like
on,
you like really like Jeepers Creepers would be the best super villain. Like he uses the body parts of people he eat for different things. Like I seen two and it messed me up. Like he take the people's tooth or his tooth and he took it out and made it Ninja Star and he was throwing them at the kids. Well, like he got
Okay.
his wings are he got wings too, so he can like fly and like grab you, eat you with his wings.
Nice. But you can also watch it on AMC during their 31 days of Halloween. It'll be on Monday the 10th at 5 p.m. So,
Dang. I thought I was bad with Freddy, but you never seen Jeepers Creepers.
I've never seen Jeepers Creepers. Sorry. I don't know why. It just is not a movie that's come up for me to, you know what I mean? It's just,
Well, I never seen Halloween at all. I never seen none of them. Not even
Okay.
like a snippet.
it says trivia. Victor Salva wrote the main characters as brother and sister in order to eliminate any sexual tension and keep them focused on escaping the creeper.
Yeah, that's nice until you come. That movie franchise though did get ruined by the director. If you know what went on during those movies,
No.
Nope.
the director was arrested. I don't know if he still is or not, but he got arrested because he got a little too close to the children. I'm just gonna say it that way. He got a little too close to the children.
Well, the first movie or the sequels too?
The guy who directed all the Jeepers Creepers movie,
Oh.
besides the reboot, because that was someone else who did it. 'Cause,
What's his name?
so a lot of
Victor
like
Salva.
people who like a lot of people who do like horror movie stuff like refuse to talk about Jeepers Creepers because of that reason, because they don't want to promote something because of him. The
I
movies
do
are
remember
good.
seeing parts of this now that I'm seeing the trailer. I must have seen the end of it because I just seen parts on the trailer. I was like, oh, I remember that when he goes into that pipe.
Yeah.
So
And
I
I
must
don't think you ever see his face either on the first one. Until the end. Something's crazy about the first one. Yeah.
Jonathan Breck plays the creeper. All right. Jeepers Creepers, number 23. Now we're on to number 22 on the list, our penultimate of the night. Joey, that means next to last, in case you didn't know. Number 22, another movie I've never seen, Paranormal Activity.
Oh my
I've
god.
seen like clips from it. I've never seen the
Y'all never
entire
seen
movie.
it?
Isn't
what's
that
going
what the whole
on?
movie is? Just clips? Isn't that?
Well, I mean, like I never sat down and watched the entire thing. I've seen like small parts from it, like seeing like scenes from the movie.
Yeah.
Now this was my Blair Witch. So I was too young to watch Blair Witch. So the same effect you got with Blair Witch, I got with this movie. Like
Yeah,
I
because
thought
it was. Yeah, it was another one of those like filmed like kind of.
yeah, and it was like no trailer. The trailer was people just like watching it and being scared in the movie theater. It was like you never seen what it was about. You just said the movie that got everybody doing this, everybody doing that. You're like, what is it?
Yeah.
And you go see it, and it's. I say the first two was pretty crazy. After that, they getting pretty whack. But first two, oh man.
So this came out in 2007. It says after moving into a suburban home, a couple becomes increasingly disturbed by a nightly demonic presence. So yeah, this was like filmed like with handheld video cameras and their
Security
like
camera.
security cameras.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is another one where the characters were played themselves. So like Katie Featherston played Katie, Micah Slot or Micah Sloat played Micah. So it was
Yeah,
all like
because when you went to go Google the characters, they had the lore inside the Google, so you never knew if it was real or not. So it was good for the first two. After the third one, and it started getting pretty whacked out. Like I said, but if you Google the characters, like, oh my god, the real, like, what happened to her? Like, I don't know.
well, here's a did you know that Steven Spielberg convinced the filmmakers to change the original ending.
So what was the original ending?
I don't know. Oh, here, and on alternate versions, there's a version that was released in theaters is the cut supervised. Wait, the version that is released in the theaters is the cut supervised by Steven Spielberg, the director's cut. Compromise. Wait, I read that wrong. The version that was released in theaters is the cut supervised by Steven Spielberg. The director's cut, comprised of the unedited film with three possible endings, has several differences. One, there's a scene in the theatrical cut not present in the director's cut that takes place early on where Katie and Micah wake up and find her keys thrown from the kitchen counter to the floor. The low
Okay, I remember
frequency,
that. I remember that.
uh,
Yeah.
the low. Oh, I hate when it does that. The low frequency tone that occurs when the demon is present is not quite as loud in the director's cut. There's
Okay.
only one instance of the demon whispering in the theatrical cut. There are at least three in the director's cut, all of which are heard in the bedroom at night.
Yeah, I
A lot
remember.
of-
Yeah, I remember hearing the thing about one time. So yeah, that sounds about right.
Then there's something about there's a lot of demon noises, the loud growl followed by the bang, the footsteps. In the director's cut, whereas the theatrical cut only has one shadow used. There's a lot of stuff. There's like 9 different things that have changed between the two.
Because it makes a difference. Like, you've never seen
Yeah.
it. Like, if it was in a theater, it was crazy. Like, it'd be like a couple scenes, nothing goes on. And you're like, okay, and just for like the movie effect, like, okay, they trying to watch it, but nothing happens. Then all of a sudden you hear a little sound like that. You're like, what was that? And it cut, and no one ever talks about it. It just, I don't know. It was.
Yeah, it says the ending is completely changed. Katie awakes shortly after midnight on the final night, gets out of bed, and stares at Micah for roughly 3 hours. Unlike the theatrical cut, she does not move to his side of the bed to continue watching him, and the sheets do not fly off his body. Instead, she goes straight downstairs. After Micah is awakened by the scream, he runs downstairs, and we hear the ensuing scuffs like before. Katie slowly climbs the stairs, except the footstep effect is slightly altered, and when she enters the room, she is holding a knife and covered in blood. Micah's body is not thrown at the camera. He remains downstairs. Katie sits down on the floor against the bed and proceeds to rock back and forth, knife in hand, for several days. We hear her ignore phone calls and the doorbell. Eventually, one of the friends comes in to check on her and finds Micah's body, which momentarily interrupts Katie's rocking. The friend lets out a scream and runs out of the house. 20 minutes later, we hear the police knock and enter, warning anyone in the house to make themselves known because they have their weapons drawn. As they search the first floor, it appears as if the demon has left Katie's body. We see the light up to the attic turn on, then off, as if the demon went back into hiding. The police come upstairs, find Katie, and warn her to drop the weapon. She's dazed, running towards them, yelling, "Where's Micah? Where's Micah?" The door to the attic slams shut, startling the police so much that one policeman asking, "Where did that noise come from? Where did that noise come from?" And ultimately declaring the house clear, the film fades to black and text appears that dedicates the film to Katie and Micah.
Yeah, I never seen that at all.
Yeah, that's an alternate ending.
Yeah,
That was the original.
that ruins the movie and that also ruins the sequel. Like that whole thing just messes up everything. Cause
That was the way it originally ended. And
yeah, I'm glad he stepped in because that would have killed the whole movie.
Paranormal Activity.
Because the way it ends is like so abrupt. Like you think you still watch the movie, and then it happens. You're like, that's it. Then the credits come on. I'm not even sure the credits even came on in the movie theater. I think it just went black, and you sat there for a while, and the lights came on.
You're like, okay,
Yeah,
that's strange.
yeah. I don't think the credits even showed in the movie theater. I think it really just went black.
And I know there's a new Paranormal Activity movie that just came out not long ago. It's on one of the streaming things, Next of Kin, whatever.
Yeah, those like they're so stupid because they're so away from the original. Like, this one is the next one has to do with a sister, so it ties in with this one. So you see why they was acting a certain way. Then the third one is what happens when they're kids, or why the spirit's there. Then the fourth one is by the freaking neighbor who lives in the house after everything happened. So like, it just gets whacked.
Yeah. Weird. And this one is not free to watch anywhere, so you have to pay to watch it. So there you
It used to be
go.
on Hulu.
Yeah, it's not anymore. It's on YouTube for $2.99, Google, Vudu,
But
Amazon Prime.
maybe because of Halloween they doing that, so you have to
Yeah, pay to watch stuff. So, but our final movie of the night, number 21, the last movie before we move into the top 20, and Leatherface has disappeared on us. At first, I was like, "Why is there like a sunset or something?" But then I was like, "Oh, that's his light." Oh, he just rose from the dead. Did you see that? He was like,
yeah.
"You rang." But anyways, number 21, Cabin in the Woods. Have any of us seen this movie?
I've
I
seen
don't
it
think
one time.
so.
I can't remember it, but I can remember it's a key movie, so I added it on my list.
Yeah, I've never seen it. I mean, it's probably on my list to watch eventually.
It's scary, but it's like also one of like them comedy things at the same time. But it's pretty cool.
So let me see if I can bring it up real quick. Cabin in the Woods from 2011. So far, this is probably like the newest movie on our list. Um, Again, five friends go to a cabin in the woods. This is kind of like The Evil Dead. Five friends go for a break at a remote cabin where they get more than they bargained for, discovering the truth behind the cabin in the woods. Um, it was written by Joss Whedon, directed by Drew Goddard. Chris Hemsworth is in this movie. Um, Kristen Connolly. I don't remember who else. Have you ever seen this movie, Joe?
No, I have not.
I'm reading about it because I don't remember it. Five teenagers head off the weekend at a secluded cabin in the woods. They arrive to find they are quite isolated with no means of communicating with the outside world. When the cellar door flings itself open, they of course go down to investigate. They find an odd assortment of relics and curios. But when one of the women, Dana, reads from a book, she awakens a family of deadly zombie killers. However, there's far more going on than meets the eye. Okay. The thermal coffee mug bong was a fully functional mug and bong as portrayed in the film, the prototype of which cost $5,000 to make.
Yeah, where is it now?
Yeah, so um, I think this is another Phil movie.
Well, it was on my list, but
Oh,
I
but
don't
you
think
just
it was
don't.
that high on my list. So it had to be somebody else.
Yeah, it was probably Phil. Yeah, because I do remember seeing this on some people's lists. This is See where Phil had it rigged that I got on here. Yeah, that Frailty movie. Yeah, he had that ranked third, so there's why that goes. Um, oh, he also had New Nightmare. Oh, maybe this must be. No, this is John's list. John had Frailty. See, these are his movies. He's not even here.
That's why it looks here.
Yeah. So, oh yeah, because John. I mean, Phil had this in his top 10, so that's how it made the list. But yeah, Cabin in the Woods, and I think I did check that. It's not playing anywhere. Oh, it is. It's actually on MTV2 tomorrow at 3 p.m.
Yeah, cause it's a
Eastern.
comedy. It's like one of the teen comedy movies. Like it's murder in it, but it's still cool for daytime TV.
There we go. So if you've never seen Cabin in the Woods, like I haven't, make sure you tune in to MTV2 tomorrow to catch it. And so that brings us to the top 20. Next week we will cover number 20 through number 11. And there we get into some good movies, like some movies I've seen, some classic horror movies. I think everyone in this top 12. Oh, nope, there's 2 I haven't seen, 3 I haven't seen. Okay, so there's 3 in the top 20 that I have in the next 10 that I have not seen. So that's what we got coming up for next week. So be sure to come back for them, and hopefully the people who voted for these movies will be here and they can talk about them. But now it's time to do what we actually come here to do, and that is talk about comic books. We have a lot of comic books because we haven't been here for 3 weeks. Obviously, we're not going to go over all the books for 3 weeks because we'll be here for a couple more hours. So, trying to find all the ones. Was there any of the books from the previous 2 weeks, 3 weeks that you wanted to talk about? Not this week, but the previous week.
Let's see.
I'm trying to remember if they were.
Yeah, let me go to the list because 3 weeks worth of books, man.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Jonathan complaining.
How'd you know?
Let me see. I'm going. Oh man.
Oh, look! Now he says he'll jump on next week.
Yeah, I told you. All right, let me go to Google Drive. It was some books I really want to talk about too.
Yeah, they're probably not on the drive anymore. Let me see. I have them all written down though. Let's go to find which week we're on. What did you have that week? Did you do you had like that week with the Belle Reeve book?
We already did that.
Okay. Now I'm just trying to remember how far back we had to go. The X-Men and Moon Girl. Did we do that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All Out Avengers, Boogeyman.
You have Miss Marvel and Venom, Samurai Doggy, Mad Balls.
Yeah, I didn't that. So.
Our group books that week were Masquerade, the 06 Protocols, and Predator 2. Yeah. Predator number 2.
Yeah, I read them.
So I guess we can start there. See if there's anything. Is there any of those?
I read more books that week.
Well, you had. Well, then that's the books we had. Then I also had Daredevil, Bounty Hunters. John had Godzilla, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and then Phil had Alien, Midnight Suns, Dual Power Bomb, Illusion Witch.
I guess I just read the group books that week because.
Yeah. And of course, that's the week I didn't really write any notes down for the books, but I just remember the '06 protocol
Was really
that
good.
was Aftershock. Yeah, it's from Aftershock. It's Lee Turner, Cliff Richards, and it's kind of like this spy kind of book where where the government was doing experiments on things to kind of make super soldiers, kind of in a way, wasn't it? And like, but but something went wrong, and so then they had hired the guy to go through and
Oh,
find the
it was with the
people.
guy's wife, right?
Yeah, and she was one of them. Yeah,
Yeah, see, it was a good twist at the end,
yeah,
but I don't know how far they go with it though. Okay, it seems better as a one shot, But
yeah,
after that, it seemed like a Jason Bourne type.
yeah. That's kind of what I. And Joey's like, yeah, I didn't get. Did you read any of the books this week, Joe?
No, I didn't get a chance to, but
Look, his first week, and he's already pulling a Jonathan. No homework. Doesn't do his homework.
He's filling in for Jonathan and Phil.
And Phil. So he's a double Phil. What else? Well, Predator 2. We've been reading that book. Predator issue 2. That's she found that ship, or she made it to like the place where she needed parts to fix her ship, and there's a Predator there, and it has her weapon, and that's where we leave off.
Is it hunting her?
I think it was just there and was killed everybody who was there. She just happened to like come upon it. So
okay.
So we'll be seeing that. And then Masquerade, that was written by Kevin Smith, and it's put
Is
out.
that the one with the TV personality?
The what?
Is that one with the TV show personality with the cut on her face?
Yes. She's like a TikToker kind of thing, and they give her own show. And she can. It's kind of like a superhero type thing. Stunned by those guys at what is the name of that comic book store? The Secret Stash. So Kevin Smith is one of the writers.
That explains my short box. I got a short box with Kevin Smith says Secret Stash. So that explains everything.
And Walt Flanagan did the cover art on that. But I don't remember a whole lot. I just remember she could.
So
she can like take people's, kind of like a chameleon, kind of like she can.
What happened in that book? It was like little ads or whatever for her show was getting ready to come, and the guy who's talking.
Oh, it's like the producer guy.
Yeah, he's an actor looking for a gig, and they're gonna pay him money to do a show with her. But that was like the whole beginning of the book. It just talked about how they didn't like him. She's basically like a kisser predator type person for her shows.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to work with her, or he used to know her back in the day or something crazy. But then the last 2 pages shifts to her killing some guy. So like the whole 20 pages is about nothing. Then boom, it's a freaking assassin story.
Yeah, and I also read Daredevil #3 that week, and that's Chip Zdarsky, Raphael De La Torre, and it's a continuation of him becoming the leader of the Fist. Right? Yeah, he's the Fist, and the other group's the Hand, and the Fist in the Hand, kind of thing. So it's him getting ready to leave New York and tying some stuff up before he leaves to join Elektra.
Is that what he means? Is that what he meets with Spider-Man and stuff?
Not in this one. Oh yeah, did he? Yeah, I think at the beginning he's like with Peter.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the issue, yeah. And then of course we had another issue of Avengers, X-Men, Eternals, Judgment Day, which I'm still like kind of confused where this is going. But
see, I went back and started reading X-Men trying to catch up because like I really know what's going on. Like,
I have a question though. When did the gala happen this time?
That's why I went back and read. I read all. Okay, where am I at?
They
It ha-
put like a one
it,
shot
it, it,
out at the
it's
beginning
not
of
it's
it.
not it's not X-Men Immortal. I read that. It has to happen in the X-Men actual X-Men book.
No, because I read the X-Men and it just jumped like to like the new team. And I was like, when did they pick this new team? What?
I got next week. I'll let you know. It had to happen. I read up to a point where I done skipped over it and she talks about it.
Yeah, I don't think they put a one shot out, and then like it was the beginning of it. It's kind of like how they did last year. It was like the Hellfire Gala, and it was like the start of it. But then it like went right into AXE. So it was like,
So,
what?
because it had to happen because did Peter Parker go into one shot?
Yeah, because that's whenever what's her
Morgan
name?
and the two clones went
But
there,
what's
right?
her? I don't. The only thing I remember is what's her name? One of them was in Mary Jane's body.
Yeah, look, like the fake Jean Grey and the fake Mary Jane had to sneak into the gala.
Well,
Right?
Mary Jane was there, but
That
what's
was,
her
that was
name
the
was
clone.
in her. No, it wasn't. It was Mary Jane, but she was like took over her body, and so like she didn't know Peter was Spider Man, and Peter's trying to talk to her, and she's like blowing him off.
Huh.
Yeah,
Okay, what about the Scott and Emma Frost thing? That happened in there too?
I don't know if it did in that. I don't remember that.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to catch. I'm trying to see what's going on with that. Because is he back with Emma Frost? Like, I don't know.
I think they're back with everybody. Everybody's with everybody. That's just how it is there. It's just a big orgy island or moon or whatever. But
That's what Nightcrawler is doing in his book.
right. So then the next, I think then we're up to last week. Last week our books were Creep Show, which I did want to talk about Creep Show, which I did not know until I read that. The Creep Show is owned by Greg Nicotero, the
Yeah, I seen that.
one of the guys.
I seen that in the credits. Yeah.
One of the guys behind The Walking Dead, and so he's owned it since like the '80s or something.
Yeah, he's been doing shows like or producing a show or something.
Yeah, there's a show of it too. Is it on Shutter or something? One of those things I don't have. But it was pretty cool. I liked the story. There was that
The
Halloween one, the only take one story or something like that with the
Yeah,
candy bars.
Yeah, that was just he thought we could throw it up, make him
Yeah. Yeah. And what was the second story in that one? I didn't write down.
It's the birthday party.
Oh, with the monster.
Yeah,
Yeah, where the kid ended up being a bigger monster than the monster was.
yeah.
Because she could play her parents against each other and all that.
That reminded me of the one thing on Hulu, that Wubby thing, whatever it is, about the toy, and it got the demons. Yeah, ain't it? Yeah.
And then we had another book that was similar to that one. It's an R.L. Stine book called Stuff of Nightmares. Did you read that one? This one, it kind of reminds me of the same kind of deal because you have a guy at the beginning who's like telling the story. And this one, there was these brothers. They were scientists. They lived in this building on the beach that had no windows. They were doing science experiments. They were buying body parts from the morgue and stuff, and they ended up creating this little creature thing. And at the end, something happens. I ain't gonna ruin it, but then they flee, and so it's like the first issue. So we gotta check out next week and find out what happens to them. Oh no, my battery's going dead on my headphones. I'm gonna have to put in my actual real headset. So speak amongst yourselves. Let me give you a topic. Whatever book you read that week. Your books that week were. What did you have that week? Let me see. Vanish, Flesh of My Blood, Harley Quinn, and Van Helsing. And then our group books for Creepshow, Public Domain number 4, Absolution number 3, and Elvira in Horrorland. And that was the Freddy
Vanish.
Krueger.
Vanish sounds so familiar. What was Vanish?
That was the Stegman, Ryan Stegman, and the guys who did Venom recently. That's their new book.
I think Vanish is pretty good. I just can't remember. Maybe I should start writing down notes, just like him. But since I don't remember none of them books, I've been reading Shadow War. You know, the Batman storyline before Dark Crisis, and it's a pretty good series so far. I'm halfway through it, and it's basically a war between Deathstroke family and Ra's al Ghul's family. Because Ra's al Ghul goes to turn himself in, something happens, and the whole shadow goes to kill Ra's al Ghul, and not Ra's al Ghul, Deathstroke. And of course, you know, Batman's in the middle of it and has to stop it, or two sides. And so far it's pretty good. I'm reading that to figure out what happened to Damian for him to still not be Robin and Tim Drake to be Robin. But yeah, so
Because he left, he quit, and he went and did his own thing.
yeah, but that's. But in the series, he went back to being Robin. Then Shadow War happened, so I'm reading that now to figure out why he didn't go back to being Robin. And now
because I'm past that now. I started reading Batman versus Robin.
Yeah, Tim Drake just came out being Robin,
but he always was Robin.
No, he wasn't.
He was Red Robin.
He was Drake.
Oh, that's.
but see, like I've been telling you, the future state stuff. I'm trying to figure out when it's gonna happen, and Tim Drake being Robin now explains the whole Robin internal thing, because he's the only Robin from future state. So I like how it's going that way, because Tim Drake's my favorite Robin. So like,
he was the only one who wanted to be Robin.
Yeah.
Like he actually sought out Batman to be Robin.
Well, Duke Thomas did too, but you know he Batman said no.
Yeah. Are you looking through out a window, Joe? It looks like you're like against the windowsill.
No, it's just the top of my desk.
Oh. I was wondering what in the world. But so let me see. Absolution number 3, I think we were on.
Yeah, that was pretty. It took too long for that one to happen.
Yeah, it's finally to a point where we're starting to see some stuff. If you haven't read Absolution, this is a book about I guess she was an assassin, and she got caught. And in this world, you go through what's called absolution, where they put a bomb in your head, and you have to do stuff like kill people that like people would like you to kill, and if they enjoy the way you do it, they kind of give you likes, and likes will make your absolution go up. And it's a Catholic term that you get whenever you go to confession, is be absolved of your sins. So that's what she's trying to go through to become free again. So it's an interesting book. It's done by Peter Milligan and Mike Deodato Jr. That comes out from AWA. Trying to think what other book I read that week. Oh, then we had Elvira in Horrorland. This was the Freddy Krueger version, like where she goes into Freddy Krueger to the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. I think this next one, the one part I did like about it is they had the TVA. Did you read it?
No.
Oh, there was a part like the TVA, because she's been jumping through movies.
Yeah, they go after her.
Yeah, they go after her and take her, and and they're showing her like how he did the Loki, and then all of a sudden she's like, I don't got time, and she grabbed her remote control and left.
But I did find out what Vanish was. So basically, it was what they wanted to do with Venom, but I guess Marvel didn't want them to do it. So it's basically just the whole King in Black, and it went to Eddie Brock's son at the end of it. So basically, they just cut out Eddie Brock altogether and just use the kid. And it's the same storyline almost, but darker. That's basically what it is.
Yeah, because I didn't get to read it. I want to, but I just haven't. And I seen the cover, and the guy looks real big. But then in the book, it was this kid, and I'm like, wait a second, what's going on?
Yeah.
Are you in a storm, Joe?
No. Everyone keeps coming upstairs talking.
It's just
and
really loud. Or maybe it was me. It just sounds really loud.
Well, I hear some feedback too, like AC's on or something.
Or a fan.
There's a fan on.
That's what I thought. But trying to think if there's anything else from last week. Exterminators #1. Did you read Exterminators?
No, I'm not caught up on X-Men yet, so I don't want.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't. It's not.
You can't tell me that.
it's out of, it's out of. It's just like a 5-issue kind of thing. It kind of reminds me of what comic books were supposed to be. That's the note I put down, because it's just Dazzler breaks up with her boyfriend, so she calls Jubilee to like go out and drink with her, and Jubilee brings Boom or Boomer or whatever her name is this week with them, and she's already an alcoholic. If you know, like if you've read any of the recent Marvel things, so she's already drunk when they go to the club, and something happens. Her boyfriend was a vampire, some kind, and they put them through this thing. I don't know. It's a weird, just out of context, kind of out of continuity. Just the story of the 3 girls with their light and blow up powers.
Like that's one thing I'm getting tired with the X-Men books. They keep bringing these vampires in there and do nothing with them.
Yeah, I know.
It's like the 5th time they did it.
They're like, what can we make that we can kill off and nobody will care? Vampires and werewolves.
Yeah, they did whole storyline about them stealing Wolverine's blood. Did nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that, and then we had AXE #5 of 6. And there's a big reveal at the end of that one that changes everything. Anything we know about the protocols, what do they call? What's the X-Men call those? The
protocols, yeah.
The resurrection protocols.
Mm-hmm.
There's something big to happen to the end of that, and it changes everything for the whole Marvel universe. So I don't want to give that away, but it makes me think, okay, so now what? Where do we go from here? But it's gotten pretty good. If you've read any of it, the Celestial gave the Earth the thumb down. So it has 24 hours before the Earth ends. And of course,
is this an issue where it says everybody dies?
Yeah, and then somebody comes back to life at the end.
Oh, okay.
Have you know what I'm talking about?
Maybe.
Okay.
But
yeah. So yeah, it's the one where like a lot of people die, and then they bring them back to fight this guy, this Celestial, and so we're almost done with this. But if you actually look on the list of the books, there's still a good many books between now and the end of this. So I think after 6, there's still like the
one shot,
the Omega like book at the end. So we'll see what happens. If you know that they're going to win, because they always win. They always find a way to pull this up. But
yeah, you said the same. You said the same thing about DC and freaking Justice League is bad.
Yeah, they always pull it out in the end. But yeah, I think did we have one of those last week? I don't think so. I know the week before we did. But that brings us to this week's books. Finally. And you had a couple books in there, Specs.
Well, I did tell you already. I didn't read.
You had Flawed, Blood Syndicate, and Tim Drake.
Yeah, I didn't read Blood Syndicate because I didn't know I was that far behind on Blood Syndicate.
Yeah.
But I read of course, I didn't read Tim Drake because I'm reading Shadow War because I'm trying to figure out what happened, because I don't remember him changing from Drake to Robin. I even went back prior to and read Young Justice, and I don't know when it happened. I don't know when he turned Drake. Like I know that when he went to that different Earth, he seen that different Robin and said, "Oh, is your name Drake? Well, I feel about Drake." But his costume changed as well. Then all of a sudden, his costume went back to Robin, but he's still Drake. But now he took the name back. So, but I know in the recent Batman books, he's been with Batman recently because Batman's been going crazy and doing weird stuff. So maybe that has something to do with it because apparently Batman got a protocol that he can't do a task. He takes this drug.
Yeah, he gets the multicolored Batman.
Yeah, so he
the Batman of Zero Noir or something like that.
No, it's some weird. Yeah.
No, it's one of them weird 60 costumes they just brought back.
No, it's just it was from when they did that storyline where Bruce got in trouble for murder, like someone framed him for murder and stuff, and so he came back as that crazy Batman where it's like purple and pink and red and
yellow. And it's the Batman of Zero Noir. It's
someplace. I don't know.
It's it's Bruce's side. It's Batman. When Batman can't do something, he goes in his brain and unlocks it. Even though Batman doesn't know he exists, but he does know he exists. Like it's the side that Batman doesn't give two shits. He's like the Batman who will kill people.
Yeah.
So, he can unlock him, but it's supposed to be the Zorro's in Gotham. But mind was so scrambled that he thought his father said Batman is something Zawar and whatever. So he goes by the Batman of something Zawar, or I can't remember his full name. But he's like he wears like the purple mask, the red shirt that like the thin things that come out and whatnot with the like the classic yellow bat symbol.
Yeah.
The yellow sleeves and the purple gloves and everything.
Yeah, it's all rainbow colored looking.
Yeah, because the first appearance of that was he thought it was a Martian version of Batman, but they come to find out that he was just in his mind and find out that he had a hidden personality.
Of course, Batman has split personalities. Why wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Well, it even was confirmed with the comics at one point where Wonder Woman had the lasso of truth, and Batman and Superman all grabbed it, and Superman said, "My name's Clark Kent," and Batman goes, "I'm Batman." It's because Batman is a separate personality from Bruce Wayne.
Well, no, the thing is with Batman, he's Batman and pretends to be Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Superman is Clark Kent, who pretends to be Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And that's... But anyways, so you didn't get to read any of it. Did you read... Well, see, we can get... I'll go through my books.
I read Flawed.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I actually bought Flawed, and I read... Yeah, so... that was pretty crazy. It's about like a therapist who goes out and I guess like equalize, people. So basically she is a therapist who's listening to this person talk about what's going on and goes to kill this guy. But it turns out the guy has some kind of power. I don't know if it's like a healing factor or immortal power or whatever, but another guy has been taking his blood to stay alive. So when she goes and kills him, fights him, he doesn't come to the meeting, so the guy doesn't get the blood transfusion, so he's mad. So now he's gonna find out what happened with the guy. I guess gonna spin out some more stories, but the guy's been targeting young black girls and I guess raping them or doing whatever and skinning them alive. So she skins him and hangs him in the middle of the street. When the cops come, he's still alive because they want to go like Chicken's Post and he like grabs them and bite them or do something. But yeah, it's weird. The book took a weird turn. You didn't know it was coming, so I can wait to see what the rest of the books look like.
Nice.
Yeah, it's from the same guy who did Bitterroot and Black Manta and John Carter. Yeah.
Nice. So this week I read Vampirella Year 1, Number 3. It's by Christopher Priest and arts by Ergen Gundes or something. I don't know. But if you didn't know, this is about the once pampered princess of Draculon's ruling class. Vampirella was abandoned as a child in an unforgiving wasteland and subjected to abject poverty and immense hardships while being hunted by ruthless forces loyal to both her vanished mother and those determined to wipe the house of Lilith. Now, after years on her own, Vampy is joined by a defector from her mother's regime who trains the teenage princess in the ways of survival and of dealing death. So, this was issue 3. You got to find where I wrote these down at.
So did you read issue 2?
Yeah, I've read them all so far. There's one scene. Okay, so in this issue, we see more like Vampirella she's like a teenager now, 12, 13, 14 years old, it looks like. Her mother is trying to find this book that lets you travel between realities because she's looking for her original daughter who was taken from her and was put into this, like she's lost somewhere in the multiverse. And the daughter, what the heck is her name now? She has her own book from Dynamite, and she looks like Vampirella, except for she's blonde, and she wears like a black suit. Actually, she is Vampirella. You find out, which, as I said before, I've never really got in. I never read Vampirella before I started reading this. I thought year 1 would be a good place for me to jump in on because it's like her origin and stuff. But you find out that the Vampirella is actually kind of like a clone of this sister. She's not really a clone. I don't remember how they explain it. She was made to, take the place of this.
Oh, like a Donald Troy.
Yeah, kind of. So when she finds her daughter and her daughter's like, yeah, I don't want to go with you. You're a witch. I hate you. Go. And she burns the books and now they're separated. And her mother hates her, Vampirella, so she gives her to this guy. And so eventually, she takes off and she starts being trained by the one her mother's used to be her mother's general. So that's where it leaves. Like she's training her to eventually take her spot, as we all know where Vampirella is the queen of wherever. But yeah. I mean, I had some other notes here somewhere. I can't find them. Oh, I put down the series is a nice place to jump on board, but there are a few places that are explained better if you read some other, because it's got the editor's notes that says, for more information, check out this place. And I was like, all right, I would get more detail into the backstory if I had paid attention.
I didn't know all those books was in continuity either. I didn't know that.
Yeah, me neither, but they are. So the next book I read this week, if my thing decides to open up, was Terry Moore's Parker Girls. Now I remember we read this as a group book, issue 1, and a lot of you wasn't sure about it. It's a black and white book. It's kind of hard to tell the girls apart. They all look kind of the same.
Yeah.
But it says the write-up for this one says, once you're in, there's only one way out of Parker Girls. So when Tambi calls Katchu, when Tambi calls, Katchu has no choice but to go back to work using her special talents to help bring down a billionaire's empire, one scandal at a time. Don't miss this exciting new series from the creator of Strangers in Paradise. So obviously this is all done by Terry Moore. He's the writer, and it's a black and white book, like I said. It's still a bit confusing as to who is who in the book because, like I said, a lot of them look the same. Like they're all blonde girls, and it's a black and white book. So it's kind of...
Then it's on purpose?
I just think that's the way he draws. So, but it did... it started to... The story started coming into shape, make more sense after that first issue. Like the girl who was found dead on the beach, we find out who that is. and
Okay.
her connection to the guy who they stole all the money from. Remember, she like had him mess with the money, like
Yeah.
so you find their connection and like so the story's starting to take shape. You're starting to see, oh, okay, now it's making a little bit more sense. This guy, that money he had, he actually stole from this guy he works for, and the lady who ended up dead is that guy's wife, and he was sleeping with that lady, and so it's like this, you know what I mean? So it's like all connected. Um, I don't know how long this is, if it's an ongoing thing or if it's whatever. And that's obviously done by Terry Moore's own company, Abstract Productions.
Hmm.
Um, and then I think I had one more book that I read before we got to the group books, and that was DC Horror presents Sergeant Rock versus the Army of the Dead, number 1 of 6. And this was actually written by Bruce Campbell from the
Evil Dead.
the Evil Dead movies. So this book takes place in Berlin in 1944. The Nazis are besieged on all fronts by the Allied forces. Defeat is inevitable, but Hitler and his team of evil scientists attempt a last-ditch effort that may turn the tide of the war and rewrite history itself. A serum that resurrects their dead soldiers stronger than they were in life and sends them back into the battlefield. Now, Sergeant Frank Rock and Easy Company have been dispatched into enemy territory to face off against the strangest, most horrific enemies they've ever encountered, Nazi zombies.
That's not very unique.
That's what I was. That's one of the things I said. Why is it always Nazi zombies?
Cause they did experiments. It's one of the lores behind it.
But it's always Nazi zombies. Why can't it be like Allied zombies or just zombies? Why didn't quitting both sides have to fight zombies?
Because a lot of Nazis died. That's why.
And also, it comes to find that Hitler did have a lot of weird experiments.
Yeah, I
People
know.
were like always, like for like anything like the whole Wolfenstein series kind of like goes with the whole like weird magic stuff. It's because Hitler did do a lot of digging in ancient tombs for like stuff.
But I take it neither of you have read this book.
No, I have not.
I had a question about the end of it, but if you haven't read it, you won't know what we're talking about. So this is issue 1 out of 6. I don't know if this is the first thing Bruce Campbell has written, like this as a comic book or novel or anything, but it seems pretty well done at points. There's some things I'm not that, it was like, it's very cliche, very, you're not breaking any new ground here, Bruce. Like you kind of,
Hey, keep beating that dead horse, right?
yeah, an evil dead horse. Okay, but so that brings us to our group books this week. Let me see. Oh, we had your favorite book, Devil's Highway, Volume 2. It's finally the end of Volume 2. In this, a truck stacked with bodies is discovered along the U.S.-Canada border, and Sharon Harrow and Quentin Skinner are on the case. Now, if you remember, back in the first issue, they found all those dead bodies from that truck lined up. Their mission is to find out how all these corpses are connected, and when they uncover the terrifying truth, they will unearth a murder syndicate that has infiltrated the walls of the very institutions meant to protect us. Now our heroes are on the run, hunted by law enforcement and the trucking community, framed for crimes they did not commit. In this action conclusion, Sharon comes face to face with her most powerful adversary yet. I don't know where that comes from. I don't remember her doing much in that book, but
Maybe it was a bad writer or something. Like
this was written by our buddy over there, Benjamin Percy, who writes X-Force and Wolverine. And Brett, I don't even remember the guy's name, Schoonover, something like that, is the artist. as you look at this whole 5-issue series on a whole, it was very much a movie. Like I just
Yeah, it should
there's
have been a graphic novel. I feel like they reused the same scenes as the first issue.
yeah, it just seemed very like I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm going through the pages just by what you said, and let me see how many times I see her in actual pages in the thing. Like
The end of it.
yeah.
There really isn't much action in the book. I mean, besides the truck crashing, and him fighting him with a snake. But it read really quick this issue. It's like, was that a whole issue? I had to like go back and look at the page count because
I think it was let me see. I think it was how they did the panels. Like it was just a whole bunch of nine-page panels, real small panels.
yeah, and it just went through like really quick. But my overall of this one, there was no real motivation or an explanation to who the villains were or why they were eating people.
Maybe that's why I see the be continued. Oh no, that's at the end.
It's the end. It's the final issue. So,
but it says I'm coming for you. So
yeah, she does. She runs them. She comes for him at the end to kill him.
Yeah,
That's
but now what?
That's the end. She's like at his house. She comes flying in with the truck. She gets out. She has the bat with the snake, and the snake bites on it. And
so that's the big thing she did.
Yeah. But obviously, in this issue, you find out that these snake worshiping, serpent worshiping, white mask, the Court of Owl wannabes are eating people. And they were doing these, like killing people in the trucks and laying them out to
because you can't just make another
to be a sacrifice to something that's the equinox, and I don't know. It made no sense to me. I give it for the whole run. I gave it a 3 out of 5.
Now, was the cameras there before? Like the last time they did a little.
Well, we don't know because we found them afterwards. They were still all laid out. But
I don't know. I mean,
I got killed on my in there.
I think I would have a better. So this book, and we had that one about the killer and the cop.
Yeah,
I think we might have a better resolve with that one than this one.
yeah. I give it a 3 out of 5, mostly because of the art. Like the art was really good in these books. I love the covers.
Good. The art is good, but the paneling, man, I don't like these panels. Right. It's somebody that said, "Well, we got to fit this stuff in here somehow."
Yeah, and there's like a lot of things they never like touched on. Like at the beginning, how he could tell that one cop was sick. Like it was like some kind of power that he knew, like the guy had cancer or something. But they never
did talk about it.
They never talk about that again. And it's just like, okay, so they killed the people there at the truck. She goes out to this person. Well, how about all those other thousands and thousands of people that were part of this group? Right? Oh, we'll just continue on. Somebody else's, I mean, it doesn't resolve anything.
Maybe it's something we should have known from volume 1 or something.
I don't know. But this was 3 stinky trash cans out of 5. What do I give it? What was our next book? Oh, we'll go to New Think because I want to save Grimm for last.
Okay, with a New Think thing, you think the last page was like an editorial thing, or you think that's really what they wanted to put there?
Well, if anyone who doesn't know what this book is, it's like this is issue 4 out of 5, and it's very each one it's kind of a commentary on culture, and like it says, it's the Black Mirror style anthology examines the rapid proliferation of technology, the cultural and political polarization of the country, and the technocrats that have driven us to such extremes of thought that we need to present the present as something futuristic. And in this issue, we see people throughout history dream of a better tomorrow filled with life saving medicine, instant communication, methods of travel that bring humanity closer together. Surely the world with such wonders would be a utopia, right? So it's kind of like what we see in this one, where the world, we see like all through history, there's people, they're telling the story about in the future, people are going to have this and they're going to have that, and we're going to have water you can just get from a sink, and you can there'll be so much water you can bath in it, and there's so much food that people just waste food, and it goes through, and each of those pages, I think, like they would show like modern day stuff, and then they would show like a group of people, and it was like going through history, and it was kind of like the stuff that those people would be worried about, like. The one was the guy was there with his wife and the baby, and the guy's like another person talking to the little kids, and it's talking about hospitals and medicines and stuff. And
the guy was being tortured in the courtrooms.
Yeah, and they talk about how they can't torture people anymore and all that good stuff. And then the last page, it's just a blank page, and it has what does the caption? What does the thing say?
What happened next?
What happened next? So like, because it tells us like we have all this stuff like that everybody throughout history, just thought it would be so amazing to have all this stuff in the future, and we have it, and we aren't happy with it. Like we always want more, and we just look for things to hate and to fight about and all that stuff. So. Where's my notes on this one? There we go.
But like I said, was it an editor problem? Because every time somebody's talking, it's supposed to be like, oh, it's translated from this language who's speaking. But a couple times, the bracket's not there. So I was like, okay, they could be speaking English, but at the same time, I thought, no, the editor probably just didn't put the brackets in there.
For the last stuff? Well, we don't know. Like,
no,
Batman...
not that stuff. Like, with the Pilgrim type people, it wasn't there. And
Pilgrims speak English.
Are you sure? Or they speak Dutch?
No, because they came from England.
I don't know, man. I suppose they spoke a different language.
No, they spoke English.
Could you understand a pilgrim? A pilgrim come talk to you right now. Could you understand their English?
Yeah, probably, because I watch a lot of British shows. Oh. So I know a lot of
BBC.
BBC 1, BBC 2, BBC 3, BBC 4. Is it still noisy there, Joe?
Fan's still on, so I don't know.
But is Zeki there yelling?
No.
All right. So you should be good. Trying to see what else I wrote down here. I don't know. That's about it. They're just all very thought-provoking books. And they're, like I said, they're a commentary on our society today. So that brings us to our last book. And it's been the one, probably our favorite book of the group as a group, Grimm number 5. This was the end of the first story arc. If you haven't been reading Grimm, it is about it's Jessica Harrow. She is a Grim Reaper, and somehow she is able to pass between the spirit world and the human world, and we can't figure out why. And this book is the truth behind Jessica Harrow's mysterious death, because she is the only Grim Reaper who can't remember how she died. And her connection to the Grim Reaper is finally revealed. But how does this connect to her unique abilities and the ancient force known only as the End? This is the end of the epic first arc of the breakout hit of 2002, concludes here, revealing macabre secrets and what lies ahead for the future of the series.
See,
Um,
remember previously we was talking about what's the page, the issue count in this series. I think this is where they seen the popularity and switch things up because this issue conflicts with the other issues.
what do you mean?
Because she wasn't able to use the site before, but that's why she made a big deal about her being able to use the site and use their powers. But this issue, she can use the site, and she knew that her connection with death. So the other issue, she had no idea why the stuff was happening, why she can use the site, but now she knew it the whole time. So that is this stuff from previous issues.
I'll have to go back and read because I don't remember that. Because she had she took Death's life. That's how they got to Las Vegas.
Oh, my phone was acting up.
Yeah, it's like all crackly and now you froze. Looks like it's just me and you, Joe. And you didn't read this book.
Yeah, I didn't.
Well, better start doing your homework, especially when Grimm is on there, because Grimm is our big book that we all read. But anyways, what did I write down? Like, this is the end of the first story arc, and all I had to do is say, "Wow!" I couldn't. The last bit, like this series is the way this arc has ended, has really wanted me to, like, can't wait to see what happens next. Oh, look, we've got two specs. Look, we have two specs on the show. Oh, the one hurried up and ran away.
Okay, so but I was saying before she didn't know she couldn't. Nobody could use that site, right? They couldn't get the power up. People tried and nothing worked until Jennifer came and it worked, and she did not know why it worked. And it was, we gotta get it back because this is crazy. We need to figure out what's going on. But now she knows why.
Oh, the lady, like the leader lady. Yeah, because at the end she used it. Unless it has something to do with the death thing.
But Jennifer can activate it. Now she can activate it too and use powers. So what happened before? Before they did the whole.
That's what I mean. Unless it was something to do with death and him no longer, being death. And so now she could use the scythe. I don't know. Or was it already turned on before she picked it up?
No, I want to say it was well, we can look. I'm pretty sure it was deactivated. It was sitting on the ground deactivated. But yeah, and I seen that, I was like, what? I really think that's when they was like,
unless she didn't use that scythe to leave because she had to get there somehow.
No,
she didn't have it then. She might have just took it with her to make them be stuck there.
I think she made a portal with it. My computer's being slow, but still, she was told to protect her because that was the daughter. Let me see. I'm on. It's turned off, and she picks it up and turns it on and makes a portal and leaves.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but before, she was told to protect her. That's my daughter. I leave. I stay in this hotel room for so many centuries to just protect my daughter. But these previous issues, she act like she didn't know who the hell she was. Just she just thought she was just some pain in her ass. But now she knows. Oh yeah, I must protect you, and then you screwed up everything. I
don't think I'll have to go back and read it because she knew who she was, and she would said stuff about her. Because it almost gave us the feeling that was her mother at points in the series.
I don't remember getting that feeling. I feel like she just, I don't know. It just seemed like a weird turn of events at the last couple of pages. Like, huh? Oh, this one is the book got popular. They said, okay, we're gonna extend this out as far as we can. That's what it feels like. Because they're saying they don't have scythes no more. When did they lose their scythe?
Well, because they didn't have theirs when they came there. She used the Yellow Death one to open the portal to go to Las Vegas. And then she took it, so now they don't have any scythe. They're there without their scythe. And so
I thought this happened immediately after the whole Vision thing.
No, this is like they went to Vegas last
No, I
issue.
mean, you remember they had the little Vision, then right after that they went to Vegas.
I have to think back.
Like
that was issue like 3 because issue 4 started with them in Vegas.
Yeah, so issue 3. Remember, each one of them had like a little flashback before.
Oh, like their life? Is that the one?
Yeah, they had scythes then, didn't they?
I don't think.
Yeah,
that or unless it wasn't like exactly right after that. I'll have to go back and look.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure she acted like she didn't know who the hell the girl was. And they had like a sword and a stone type competition to get the scythe to work. And if she could get the scythe to work the whole time, why did they have the whole sword and a stone thing that activated?
I'll go back and check because I'll reread them now that they're all out.
Yeah, I'll probably grab the graphic novel.
But so we'll have to wait.
What about the ending with the mom?
I know. So that's like, and she has that like letter from death.
So you think what you think she? Well, I don't know. She looks pretty swole.
She's been in prison, but I think it's cool because they're like, you have a, package or something. She goes, "How? I'm not even supposed to. No one even knows I'm alive or something."
Yeah, so, nobody knows I exist. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll have to see what's up with that. Obviously, she's a human, though. That's what we do know. So I have a feeling she's going to track down her mother and find a way to get back to the afterlife. But that is it for this week. We ran over a little bit. Next week on the show, we will be covering numbers. Where do we leave off at? 21. So numbers 20 through 11. I know it sounds weird, but we're counting down, so I'm doing it backwards. For our 31 days of Halloween countdown. Joey is going to do his homework this week, aren't you, Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah. So tomorrow, when I give you the list of books, you're going to let me know what books you want to read?
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Hopefully tomorrow I can get down there if Matthew doesn't cancel again.
Yeah. So we will.
Oh, yeah. Another news that happened when they talk about the original black and original blue Power Rangers making their first debut in 20 years back on Power Rangers.
Oh, I seen that in that. Is it maybe it's one of the new issues of Power Rangers that the Red Ranger lost his powers, so he's no longer the Red Ranger. Like he can't turn back into the Red Ranger anymore.
Which one?
The original one.
Jason.
Yeah. Because he had to go into the morph whatever and to fight that Death Ranger, and he had to sacrifice his powers.
I got an issue. I got to catch back up there because I already like the storyline they was doing with the Solar Rangers.
Yeah,
it explains that gap in the TV show really, really good. So, I wish they pick up a storyline they scrapped. That which explained why, like the Gold Ranger thing. They said it was supposed to be it was supposed to be Tommy. He had like the government Rangers, and Jason had like the underground Rangers. Apparently they touch it in the TV shows, but they never picked it up. But it's sprinkled in there already.
Just sprinkling.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think we are good for this week. I know Joey's kind of disappeared. he I'm gonna stay here in the darkness and come back. But hopefully Jonathan will be here next week, so he can help us talk about these movies. And we'll have lots of new books you'll want to talk about. All right. 2. But anyways, thanks everybody for stopping by. I know we ran over a little bit tonight, but we will be back next week for an all-new show of Comic Book Geeks podcast. Good night.
See you.